Hey guys, this is Mark, and I'm excited to talk to you about a new program that I have. It's going to be specifically for husbands on the autism spectrum, and it's going to be a PDF file, about 230 pages long, and there's going to be several videos that are going to be instructional in nature. And say hello to Patrick and Tobias back there. But before I tell you about the program, I want to discuss briefly this little business of what I'm going to call woundedness in people on the autism spectrum. I want to describe an unfortunate phenomenon involving individuals who think and behave differently. In other words, people with ASD, and as a result have been misunderstood and mistreated to one degree or another pretty much throughout their entire life. The mistreatment may have started as bullying in school and perhaps continued in the workplace. Through years of perceived rejection and ridicule, the person on the autism spectrum may now feel a sense of shame and unworthiness. The wounded individual believes that he's misunderstood and unappreciated, believes that other people interfere with his freedom, experiences control by others as intolerable, has a basic conflict concerning his self-worth, is inclined toward anger and irritability, views himself as self-sufficient, but feels vulnerable to control and interference from others, and may view others as intrusive, demanding, interfering, controlling, and even dominating. Wounded individuals may be self-deprecating and express guilt for failing to meet expectations in one situation, yet express stubborn negativism and resistance in another. They're vulnerable to worry and depression, and major depressive episodes are not uncommon. They often experience an undercurrent of perpetual inner turmoil and social anxiety, and many appear unable to manage their moods, thoughts, and needs internally, which results in emotional instability. Due to mind blindness, the adult on the spectrum does not always understand the motives of others. Unfortunately, when he's impacted negatively by another person's words or actions, and does not understand why that person would say or do such a thing, he often tends to fill in the void with a negative. For example, she said that to hurt me, or he did that because he doesn't like me. Thus, since he's pretty much in a constant state of misunderstanding others' motives, and subsequently filling in the void with a negative, he often perceives himself as being on the receiving end of criticism, disrespect, and sometimes downright emotional abuse. Having said that, the time for healing is now. My heart goes out to you guys on the autism spectrum because I know your neurotypical spouse may have accused you of being insensitive, selfish, uncaring, narcissistic, and so on. She may have made a bunch of false assumptions, but this may be because she doesn't fully understand autism spectrum disorder yet. If you have ASD level 1, you will have some degree of mind blindness. Not your fault. Your NT wife may blame you for being stubborn and rigid and simply not caring about or understanding her perspectives. If you have ASD level 1, then you're going to have some level of emotions blindness or alexithymia. Not your fault. And your NT wife has probably blamed you for being selfish and simply not caring about or understanding how she feels. If you have ASD level 1, you will have some executive function deficits. There are many executive functions. But to use the working memory deficit as an example, your NT wife may have blamed you for simply not caring about what she asks you to do when in fact it's difficult for you to remember some of these things. Now, we're not looking for excuses here, and we're not looking to get a pass for perceived callous behavior. We are looking to begin developing some emotional literacy and social skills so that you can connect with your NT wife in a way that she will value and appreciate. So in this program, you will learn ways to improve your social skills and emotional literacy. You will raise your social IQ and your emotional IQ, and that is a promise. Now, the goal here is not to make you more neurotypical. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to be fixed. But you can learn several ways to adapt to the neurotypical world with the larger goal of reducing your relationship stress. And on that note, anxiety reduction is the paramount objective in this course. Without a significant reduction in anxiety, social encounters that are loaded with social and emotional nuances will be nearly impossible to navigate. In the typical neurodiverse marriage, where one person is autistic and the other one is not, there tends to be a lot of blaming, criticism, defensiveness, fear, power struggles. Trust is often shot. Both parties often disappoint each other and unintentionally hurt each other. So now to turn this around, there's going to need to be some discovery. And discovery is going to look like this. Both parties must learn more about each other's strengths and weaknesses. They need to avoid the judging and blaming. They need to find a new balance of separateness, togetherness, independence, and intimacy. They'll have to translate their complaints into requests for change. They'll need to identify and talk about their fears instead of acting them out. And they'll need to see each other in a new light. In other words, we are both gifted and individually challenged. Now, at this point, many of you listening to this video that are on the autism spectrum might be thinking, well, that all sounds great in theory, but the skills that you're listing here are way out of reach for me. Listen, they are not. They are not out of reach for you. They are very much within reach. Even the person on the spectrum has something very important going for them, namely neuroplasticity. I can promise you there is hope. You can and will improve your social and emotional intelligence if you read the text in the ebook, complete the exercises and assignments, and listen to the audio recordings. Neuroplasticity is an incredible phenomenon that describes the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself in response to new experiences. It's a complex and dynamic process that involves the formation of new neural pathways, the strengthening or weakening of existing connections between neurons, and the pruning of unnecessary connections. These changes occur at the microscopic level, and they play a fundamental role in shaping our cognitive abilities, behaviors, and memories. By taking advantage of your brain's remarkable ability to adapt and change, you can optimize brain function and achieve your relationship goals. Now, the bottom line is this. Things are not likely to get better on their own. So how much longer can you afford to wait? Let's get busy and turn this around right now. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Won't you start this program today? If you have any doubts or any questions, I'm here for you. And you'll find my email address below this video.